Another coach gets fired yesterday. This time it's Gus Bradley of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, had something interesting to say after the game. And the fact is that with him firing Gus Bradley, he did so because he wanted to start the process to find a new coach. But more importantly, he wanted to relieve the stress from Gus Bradley and his family, and he wanted him and his family to be able to enjoy Christmas. Think about that for a second. We're going to fire you so you can enjoy Christmas.
On the unemployment line.
On the unemployment line. And, I don't care what you say. Nobody ever wants to get fired. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. And yesterday, yet another embarrassing performance by his Jaguars as they lose to, as Eddie and or Al and Jerry were talking about this morning, the Tom Savage-led Houston Texans. I never thought I would ever say that, but Bill O'Brien's showing some stones yesterday and making a very difficult decision, deciding to bench his $72 million free agent quarterback. A couple of other things around the league yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. I think he probably silenced anybody that would be calling for Tony Romo with an unbelievable performance last night. He was 32 of 36 against one of the red-hot defenses in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They now get the 12-2. They await the Detroit Lions next week. The Giants have a short week. They play Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Denver Broncos playoff hopes all but are dead now as they lose to the New England Patriots 16-3 yesterday. Their offense just not good enough to put any points on the board against against a Patriot offense and defense that showed you that they can win a game even when Tom Brady is not at his best. As a matter of fact, I thought Phil Simms did a great job in the first quarter yesterday.
Screw Phil Simms!
Nah, don't screw Phil Simms. Talking about the troubles that Tom Brady had and how fast he was playing yesterday. The Atlanta Falcons get to 9-5. Looks like they're probably going to sweep the NFC South. Seattle Seahawks, obviously 9-4-1, won the NFC West this week. So a lot of great football left to be played. The last 2 weeks of the season, especially when you take a look at the seedings right now, Dallas number 1, Seattle number 2. By virtue of Tampa Bay losing to the Dallas Cowboys last night, the Washington Redskins are now the 6th seed at 7-5-1. And obviously I'll be down in Washington tonight as they get ready to play the Carolina Panthers, and they can make it to the playoffs for 2 years in a row, which would actually be a nice feather in the cap of one Kirk Cousins, their quarterback. The Giants have the 5th seed, and that's why right now, if the playoffs started, they would have to visit the Detroit Lions and play them in Detroit. Or think about this: if they stay there in the 5th seed, it's most likely they're going to play the winner coming out of the NFC North. So that's going to be either another frozen game at Green Bay or indoors at Detroit. So the Giants still have a lot of work cut out for them, but nonetheless, yesterday's performance defensively was pretty much exactly, I think, what most of us expected. It's one of the reasons why Craigie and I both picked the Giants to win, but the Eli-led offense still, I know it's still a grind for some reason, and it shouldn't be because there's enough quality good players in this offense, and even with getting Justin Pugh back yesterday, it's still a grind. And the one thing I will say about the Giants and their offense, when they needed it most, they got it, especially in the fourth quarter. Eli, 22, I think, of 28 or 20 of 28, something like that. A good, solid game for him. Not a great game, and he still hasn't had, the great 350, 400-yard game, but he doesn't necessarily need to do that, especially when their defense is playing the way they're playing.